Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Let me adjust my screen here. Apparently, my virtual machine restarted or something. I don't know. But let's continue. Let's see if there's anything new on the socials. Let's go to groups. Is there a way or an add-on that email people when a new item is added? Something like email subscribers. I think that there is something like that. If we go to, I don't know if that's been disabled, but so here on the list, there's an alert option, but I wonder, oh, it's only, they can subscribe to it using Alert Me. The list has an option for users to opt in for alerts. List. Opt in for alerts. Alert me. Alternatives. Yeah, so you can actually create a separate list, like a list, a unique list that's separate, where people can enter their email addresses and they can basically subscribe to get updates. All right, so we did our good deed for the day. Is there any others? I think these are all old ones. So let's get to the code. Open, delete a lookup item. We can get rid of this. So what did we leave ourselves some tasks? I'm gonna remove this. Oh, what did I do? Oh, add recurring task hook. Oh yeah. So basically what I need to fix is here on recurring tasks, I I need to make it so that when a recurring task is added or updated, it updates that in the, not necessarily updated, but added. I need to be able to see that update in the recurring tasks. So that's one of the things that needs to be fixed. I had a message. All right, so let's fix that. So right now, if we go to the recurring task dashboard, let's test it first. All right. So the current behavior is what is today? Tuesday? So you can see here, this is a recurring task now, but when I click on recurring task, it's not showing up. Which is obviously a problem. I need to fix that. I don't know why, but technically it should be showing. If I had to guess why it's not showing is because the form itself, I think, has a I'm assuming here, like the architecture around forms is so that it does like a disposal, I'm assuming, of the element. And so every time that the form would reload, it would retrieve the recurring tasks. However, it's not occurring for recurring dashboard for some reason. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. It's just that I've noticed that sometimes when I log in, Like it asked me to log in, so just wanted to be sure. So anyway, wait. Did I just delete everything? Let me see. When I have a hook that is part of a form component, I notice that it refetches the data every time I open the form. However, all right, so I'm assuming, because let's look at what's going on in the network traffic. Because when I enter recurring tasks, it's opening sessions for some reason. Let's try that again. Why is it refetching sessions? So very weird behavior because it's loading the sessions for some reason, which is bizarre to me. Oh, I know why it's doing it. The reason it's doing that is because today's progress bar has I'm assuming it's because today's progress bar session hook is refreshing on focus. So today's progress bar is use today progress. Which is getting the I should be getting the sessions. Yep, this is why. So this is probably why we're seeing that. Forms refetch, dialogues don't. Figures. So it was correct on the architecture around forms. The difference isn't forms versus dialogue architecture per se, it's whether the component is conditionally rendered. So the recurring dashboard is rendered conditionally. It's always okay, that makes sense. So it's always technically loaded. We can probably trigger this by using lazy load, but I'm not entirely sure that lazy load would automatically dispose of it and then re-render it. Would this be something we can address if we use something like React lazy load? Would that in effect unmount the recurring task dashboard? Okay. So it looks like React Lazy wouldn't do that. It defers downloading the component JavaScript bundle until the first time it's rendered. Once it loads and mounts, which would make sense, right? Well, the issue is that when a user in the task home adds a recurring task, then subsequently goes to see that it is in the recurring task dashboard, does not show up before it would, because in the task form we were Loading all recurring to updating. We were updating the SWR cache. In that case, when we would open the recurring task dashboard, it would have the So let's see what this gives us. All right, let's see what it suggests. After create recurring task returns a created item, call mutate recurring task to append to the shared. To maintain anyone updates the other one immediately. I was talking to myself on mute. So it would defeat the purpose. We had changed it so that the form would no longer load the recurring task hook at all. Perhaps we can just use mutate without use the mutate function, since it will run as the form is closing, and eventually we refetching silently the background, and only doing so if the user added a recurring task. You can put it in the conditional. What I'm basically trying to say is that before, the way we had the form set up, it was set up to where when the form loaded, it would refetch all the tasks so that we can have all of the current cache of tasks readily available, and subsequently push that and update the SWR cache with the new recurring task. Problem with that is every single time the form loaded, it would refetch. Because remember, we just discussed earlier that the form by default unmounts, and it mounts again when you open it, and which essentially means the hook reopens. The alternative would be we could technically make it to where the recurring task hook only fetches if the recurring part of the form is loaded. Because see, what's happening right now is if I add a task, and you see how recurring doesn't open until I click on recurring. So we can make it part of this portion. So when you open this, then it fetches the tasks, and then we can just do an SWR fetch update. That may work. Maybe. We're trying to keep the app as lightweight as possible. I don't want to. I mean, I won't see an impact right now, but I think about it. If you have an entire team or an entire department using this application, and then you have a bunch of users that are using the application at the same time, you're having a lot of API calls, and some of them may be unnecessary. So we always have to keep efficiency and keep things as lightweight as possible. Yeah, that's going to be a lot better. So what it's essentially saying is, and I agree. So if we go to the task form, let me show you. If we go to the task form here, right now, it's utilizing the hook called, actually it's not there anymore, but let's just go to the, here's how I can illustrate it. In the task form, what it is going to do, it's going to set up a local state for the for this. So the current user ID, it's going to set a local state, or it's just going to set it to 0 for the initial load. And so by having 0, it's basically not going to return anything, because there is no such thing as an ID of 0 for a user on SharePoint. Or there might be, I don't know, but nevertheless, it's highly unlikely that there will be, unless it's maybe like a system account. I don't know what account would be 0, but I don't think there would be. Everything would be either 1 and up on users. But nevertheless, be that as it may, it's going to set that to 0. And then when you open and click recurring, then it'll update it with the current user ID, which would trigger a fetch because you're changing the ID at that point. And so that would then retrieve the, the recurring tasks, and only then. So that's I think it's a good way of doing that. Oh, it's also saying that it's gonna keep the fetching of the recurring tasks in the dashboard, not necessarily the form, I think. Let's just let it do the changes and then we'll code review. All right, let's go take a look at what it did. So it brought in use app recurring task as the hook. And if it's recurring, then it's given it the current user ID. Otherwise, it's going to be 0. Perfect. Because it's recurring is going to be a chained event. Basically, the user clicks on is recurring. It opens the recurring section and subsequently retrieves the tasks. But wait a minute. No, I don't like that. No. Let's bring in the current array of recurring tasks when is recurring is true. Then use the helper functions to update the SWR cache on submit if user is submitting a recurring task. And the helper functions are this way. It only fetches the recurring tasks when they are needed for the optimistic update. And only when the form is going to be for a recurring task. Not necessarily. I hope I'm spelling this right. Not every time the form loads. So what I wanted to do essentially is, here on the task form, I wanted to update this mute to include bringing in the recurring tasks. And if they're recurring, so then it's going to leverage the recurring tasks inside of the use add recurring task helper functions to update and populate optimistically the recurring tasks array. All right, that should fix it. To be honest, I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know that this is going to return But I think this might fail because this is retrieving the last item in the array. And I believe that when you add an item to the array, it's going to add it to the top of the list. Like it'll just shuffle all of them to the end and add the newest one at the top. I'm gonna see something here. I like this way better. Yeah, that way, this way is gonna work better. For these, you just kind of have to put like random stuff. I just realized that it was my fault. I gave it bad instructions, but we can fix it. That was on me. Do we have any issues? Oh, come on. Oh, let's test that. Let's test the network calls. So when we add a task, it's only fetching the categories. Good. And only when we click on recurring should it retrieve the recurring templates. Perfect. That's exactly the behavior that we want. Okay. Now if I click on recurring tasks, I should see it. Perfect. That's going to be it for me today. Shameless plugs. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. I think I might be going back to Kick again. I'll have to configure that again. I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? I did have a few followers there, and it's only fair that I go ahead and continue there. So I'll be adding those back. But if you ever want or have any questions, or you want to follow me on YouTube or Twitch, I'm always open to answering any questions live. I am very, very open to helping anybody. And this is my passion. This is what I love to do. So this is fun for me. But anyway, I have to get back to my regular scheduled day job. But thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.